Just now you mentioned that Cambridge University does not run just one, but a handful of museums of certain size and scale. This is incredible in China. Then why do museums play such an important role in the university life? And do you often resort to museums when you are doing your research work?
Interestingly, the site where the zoology museum was actually called the New Museum site because several museums were there. This is the Downing site, and there are several museums here. We'll look at this one and maybe the Geology Museum as well. The museums movement in Britain really developed the British Museum, which is one of the first obviously in London, but provincial museums like this developed really in the second half of the 19th century, and they were instituted as an aid to research. People like Darwin and others realized that you needed lots of objects which you collected over time and kept in cabinets so you could study them. You also wanted to preserve, in the case of archaeology and anthropology, the objects which you dug up in your digs or discovered on your anthropological fieldwork. So there was a great desire to collect material culture objects. It's probably a wider thing in Western culture and in England as well, that we treasure old things. In China you tend to throw away old things, but we tend to keep them. My house is a sort of museum. I can't bear to throw anything away. The English don't like throwing old things away, so they make these big museums, like this one. This is the one, I've been chairman of this museum committee recently for a couple of years, and for a long time I've run an exhibition on the Naga peoples of Assam in this museum, and I've worked with curators and so on. I can't say I come here very frequently, but from time to time my students come and do museum-based projects. From time to time my students work on new displays and so on, and it's always very inspiring, enriching to come here. At the moment they've got a very good display on the Pacific. This museum is perhaps the third or fourth best anthropology museum in the United Kingdom, but in terms of its collections of the Pacific, because the founder was a man called Baron Anatole von Hugel, who's there, and he was interested in the Pacific area, and as a result of that, and they got perhaps a quarter of Captain Cook's discoveries in the Pacific. As a result of that, this is perhaps in the top half dozen Pacific collections in the world is here, and it's a place which somehow takes you back to a previous age. The Pitt Rivers Museum in Oxford is better museum than this and has an older feeling, but this is also very fine.